So energy healing, energy work was not a thing in my life. I didn't consciously know what it was at all. And um, 20-ish years ago, my father passed away from pancreatic cancer, and that was a tough time for me. And so I think what a lot of people a lot of people might do is, dear God, what is the legacy that you want me to leave? Because I really was just kind of lost. And fairly quickly after that question, that plea, I was directed, in coincidentally, non-coincidentally, actually, to a
That's the way it
world
works.
of yes, to a world of work that was energy based. So I was kind of guided to learn about energy medicine, about plant healing, about aromatherapy, just kind of all different ways of working. And it was fairly new to me, and so I just was really given all of these possibilities, and I started taking them and taking the learning. Now, at the time, I was a software engineer at Hewlett Packard Agilent Technologies. That's my degree. I have a electrical engineering degree, software engineering career that was, almost at the time, probably close to 20 years long. And I didn't know I was going to be doing anything different with my life. And after that, that question, it was like, okay, there's something different that God has a purpose for me to be doing. And so as I started to get into this world of work, and what energy even was, which we're going to be doing with you all today, just what to do with that. And so I took all different trainings, different modalities, different certifications. And with all of those, you'll find you need to practice on people. You need to see what the results are with those. And so I would practice with my family, with people at work, and we were getting such great results, and I ended up basically having two jobs. And it was like, okay, I've got to choose what's the one that's going to be rewarding and fulfilling for me. And I had a lot of folks at my work, like my family. It's like, well, what are you thinking? This is so completely different than what you're doing for sure. But I said, you know what? If I can make a difference in the health and wellness arena, I think that was a message from my dad passing. Is there's just a different way of supporting our own selves, and I need to step into it. This is, I've been called to do this. I need to step into it and see what it's going to look like.
Two things that I love about what you said, and I hadn't really thought about it this way, is what is my legacy?
Mhm.
What is the legacy that I want people to remember me by? And what do I want to give to this world that I can be remembered? And the second one was how you shifted from being, I mean, an engineer. I know a lot of engineers, and they're very cerebral,
Yes.
because they're solving problems all day long, and that's a thought
Mhm.
process. And
Yes.
actually, that kind of lends itself very well to what you do. And what we do is we're also solving problems for our clients. Um, can you tell me a little bit more about that transition from such a cerebral career to something that's more heart centered?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, for me, in my software work, I am very it's very analytical, it's very process focused. Then and what I found, it's just a different if it's a different focus of how to help, how, noticing, okay, there's something going on with the body, that this hurts. And okay, what is it that's going on? Is there something emotional that's happened in your life? Is there something traumatic that's happened in your life? is
Mhm.
is what is it that's creating that sort of energetic ball of energy that's causing things not to flow and move and to be painful? And so it actually was quite natural for me because I think in those terms. What's going on? I know there's a solution to help this be better. And my way of, engineering thinking was made that really easy for me to just do the research, but not get stuck into all those possibilities. Just, listen and kind of receive some guidance about what is going on. And so it's not as far off as one might think in someone who's been in a engineering world to now an energetic world. And so I was like totally okay with, yep, that's the transition for me, and it's helping me develop some different ways of thinking and operating. And I know what you'll talk about too is the intuitive part of us. It's just taking time and desire to tune into that, the divine guidance that's intuitive, or however that flows in through God and the angels and our intuition. It truly let me so easily step into listening and asking and receiving what that insight was to drive what the process, what the resolutions might be. So, yeah.
It's fascinating to me that that transition was so smooth because they are so disparate professions
Mhm.
that my other question is, when we shift like that, such, I mean, that's a radical shift and radical
Radical
change
shift. Yep, yep.
in your life. Not only did you do some mental and physical and emotional radical shifting,
Mhm,
but but the job shift, did
mhm.
you did you lose people along the way? How did your family and friends take that shift for you?
I would say my family was totally supportive for sure, and that's really how I was able to do it. My husband of now 35 years, and my kids were teenagers, some in high school, and they knew, they could see and feel that this calling, this way of being was so where I was meant to be, that there was no question about that. Now, work people, I came from an environment where, I just loved the work people that I worked with. I've always been a, really upbeat, positive. Maybe that's more of a non-engineering type form, but very, very connected and just really optimistic and positive. And so while people ask more, this is such a radical, 180 change, how could you do this? It really was more of, we can see that this service, this way of being is totally fits how you're going to support people in moving forward. And the people that said, how can you imagine doing this, really weren't thinking big enough in my
I like
mind. And that
that.
was
I like that.
it was more about them and not about me, because when I knew it was the right decision, it was the right decision. I just move forward. I'm not a wishy-washy. I just move forward.
That, my first thought was happy wife, happy life, and for your kids, the
Yes.
same thing, happy mom.
Yes. Yeah.
And what a great example that you showed your children, that to be to, and I don't know if you were like stuck in that job, but in a
Oh
job
no,
that
I love my
didn't,
job. I love my job.
okay, but it still didn't fulfill your soul. It didn't
Yeah.
fill you up.
Yeah,
Like,
it not where I was meant to be going, not in the
no.
new direction that it's like, this is where you need to go. This is where you're meant to be.
I mean, that's an incredible lesson that you taught your children, is do something that you love to do and that
Yes.
fills your soul.